Yes, everyone, you know what time it is. It's Jack and Dave here to give our reactions to the various channel predictions for our upcoming Carabao Cup match, the League Cup. We're coming up against Coventry City, and we have to dust ourselves down after that North London Derby defeat. We've asked these brave channel creators to send in their predictions. I imagine they probably didn't want to do so this time, so do thank them in the comments for, putting up a brave face as well as taking the time out of their days to make these channel predictions for us. We're going to give our reactions to them. So if you can, smash the like button. Do also follow them over to their channels. Should be pinned somewhere either in the description or in the comments for them as well. Great people. But Dave, I mean, brave souls here sending in these channel predictions. Let's hope we can get a League Cup win to, mask over what was a really tough North London Derby defeat.
Yeah, look, it's been a tough start to the season off the back of a tough end to last season. So it'll be interesting to see what Spurs fans are predicting, especially with our away form, right? I think we won 2 of our last 11. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of mood the Spurs fans are in. So let's get into it. Let's hear what they have to say.
And I thought I'd surprise people by going with Marlon first. Maybe we can switch up the luck, switch up the order this time around. We'll see how it goes with Marlon. But big up to Marlon from Spurs Kings TV. See what he has to say.
Dave, Jack, hope you are well. It's Marlon from Spurs Kings TV. As you can hear, aeroplanes in the background, I apologise. Yeah, look, back to the bus driving job, as Dave says. No, in all seriousness, this is my prediction for Coventry. Look, North London Derby, like I said, cancel it all. But Ange's under pressure, very much he's under pressure. And his team against Coventry is going to be a factor into if he wants to win a trophy or not. But the problem you've got is that he's probably promised some game time to certain individuals that, are not first team at the moment. I'm expecting a Jed Spence to come in, a Dragusin to come in, an Archie Gray to come in, a Bergvall to come in. I think Vicario and Solanke definitely need to play. I think the winger situation, for me, I'll try something different from Johnson and Werner. So see if he can get a tune out of them somehow, but he needs to do something. So I'm going to predict it's going to be a 2-1 win, and a very uncomfortable watching for us Spurs fans. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to the Irish Hotspur. Love this channel to pieces, but as always, come on you Spurs.
Thanks, Marlon, for sending in your prediction. Love you as well. Spurs Kings TV. Do check them out. I'd take a 2-1, Dave. I mean, let's just get a win, That's what I'd take. But he said it could be ugly by the sounds of things, Marlon. And he says Ange is under pressure. I tend to agree with that as well. I mean, could you see it being an ugly win? And be nice if it wasn't an ugly win, because I'm not sure how much that would really save Ange, with some of the pressure. It kind of needs to be convincing.
Sky Sports have got the rights for the game, and I think they bought them in expectation that there's going to be a big, massive shock on Wednesday night, and I hope it's not the case. Look, Ange did make a lot of changes last year for the Fulham game. We went out, it didn't work out. But I think Andrew's right again, to make changes heading into this game. And I think he will. I know he said, in his interview after yesterday's game that, he will look to make changes, use players on the periphery of the squad and see what they can offer going forward and hopefully add some competition to places. So I'd expect changes tomorrow. I think Andrew's right to do so.
Yeah. And everyone check out Spurs Kings TV. We're going to keep it moving, though. Thanks for sending in that prediction. And also thanks to Sonny Snelling from Sunny Talk Spurs for sending in his prediction. See what he has to say. See if he retains any confidence going into this League Cup match.
He looks like a defeated man.
He definitely looks like me, just a little bit downbeaten afterwards. But Sonny, he's a bright-spirited man. We know he carries himself very well. So do check out his channel, Sunny Talk Spurs.
What's going on, Dave and Jack? It's Sunny from Sunny Talk Spurs. You want my prediction ahead of Coventry versus Spurs in the Carabao Cup. And after the North London Derby, who knows how this is going to go. Coventry are no mugs, are they? Like, we've seen them last season in an FA Cup semi-final. Put the pressure on Manchester United, even though they're woeful as well. But I can imagine we're going to play a mixed team with like some first teamers who need to get their form up. And also a few youngsters and fringe players like Archie Gray deserves some minutes, Bergvall deserves some minutes, Dragusin deserves some minutes. Very much so. I think Dragusin should start. But I'd like to think we'd be able to get a comfortable win. But at the same time, I think they're going to sit back, aren't they? They're going to just do what Arsenal did, but from Coventry's point of view. So I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0 win. I think we're going to try and bounce back. We need to take these cup competitions seriously this year. Because we're sick and tired of not winning anything. And we used to be a cup side, and now we're just fodder. Fuming, honestly, at the moment. But still back the boys. Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks for sending in that prediction there, Sonny. Like a lot of these Spurs fans, like I said, brave souls for being able to do this on such a quick turnaround after the North London Derby defeat. Dave, he's saying, some fringe players need to come in, some guys that deserve minutes. I think he's right. Drop Romero, bring in someone like Dragishin, who's been waiting for an opportunity like this. Bergvall as well, Archie Gray, they've been waiting for an opportunity like this. And he's gone for a 2-0 win. He thinks it could be slightly ugly as well by the sounds of things because Coventry City, they will sit back. They'll probably do a similar game plan to other teams. I mean, how do you see it going? Do you agree with some of what Sonny had to say?
Yeah, look, I think that for the starting lineup, I think Solanke and Vicario probably should be the only two that should retain their place from the North London Derby. I'd like to see the rest come in and see what they can do. And by putting them out there and putting them in action, it's the only way we can see, if they're good enough to start in the first team or if they can put pressure on the guys starting in the first team. So again, I think Sonny's right that Postecoglou should make these changes. But I also think, maybe someone that's sitting there going, oh, it's awfully negative, straight away. I think there has to be a bit of understanding over Tottenham in the Cups the last few years. Like Sonny says, Tottenham were traditionally a Cup team. That's what my dad has always known them to be. Great in the Cup competitions, and he's got some wonderful memories of Tottenham over the years in Cups. Over the last few years, maybe since Pochettino, some of that, we haven't really been effective in Cups. We haven't really participated in any of the Cups, really. And it's becoming a huge problem when you look at our away form right now that we're currently on, but you also look at a lot of the embarrassing defeats we've suffered in the Cups down the years. They've all been away from home. So I can understand why people think this is going to be a very, very tricky fixture for Tottenham. However, if we want to get back to being that Cup team, and in years gone by, Tottenham have been able to rotate in these games because you have to maintain your Cup run alongside league games and you can't stick to your first 11. Now, this will be a good test of some of the signings we've made under Ange Postecoglou to try and fill this squad out with strength and depth. It's going to be an absolute big test of that squad. Let's see if they've done it right.
So far, 2 win predictions, a 2-1 from Marlon, and then a 2-0 from Sonny. Do check out Sonny Talk Spurs. Great guy, very good to us over these years. So do show his channel some love. And now we're going to go on to Kate from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. See what she has to say. She's also been very kind to us, so do show her some support, please. See what she has to say.
Good morning, everyone. It's Kate from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Still devastated about our loss yesterday in the North London Derby, but we move on. We have to brush ourselves off and carry on. Coventry away on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Not an easy draw at all. They're a championship team and they've got a bit of previous with us in cup competitions. I expect to see Dragusin, Bergvall both getting a start. But Ange needs to be playing his strongest 11. I think we can afford to start Dragusin. I think we can afford to start Bergvall. But we need to win this game. We need to progress in these cups. I said at the start of the season, I would take a lower finish in the league if we win silverware. If Ange puts out a weakened team and we go out first round of these cups, I think that is the end of Ange Postecoglou. But assuming he plays the right players, I am going for a 2-1 Spurs win. It won't be easy, it won't be pretty, but who cares? It's the I was going to say 3 points, but it's not. It's the progression to the next round. That's all we care about. And I'm going for a 2-1 win. Come on, you Spurs.
Love that she's given the grit now on her Come On You Spurs. I think she's taken Dermotron's style there, and she's almost doing it better than even Dermotron does with that Come On You Spurs. It's very, very good. And she's right. I mean, we need to win this game. Absolutely need to. And I also would agree with her that going into this season, I think when Dave and I gave our channel predictions, I pretty much said I'd be willing to sacrifice any sort of expectations or any sort of desires when it comes to the Premier League. I've gotten a bit bored. It might be a privileged thing to say, but I've gotten a bit bored of finishing inside the top 4 and then end up not really winning anything else, right? The top 4 trophy is not really anything to me anymore. I'd much rather us go really far and really deep into one of these cup competitions. It's not guaranteed that you win it, but I'd much prefer a deep cup run than I would actually finishing top, inside the top 4 or high up in the Premier League. So I completely agree with her, and Ange Postecoglou needs to consider that.
No, 100%. But look, we go on like Ange Postecoglou doesn't want to win trophies either. He's mentioned it ever since he's been here that the aim is to win trophies. He's won trophies at other clubs. At Celtic, he famously stayed on that second season to finish out winning the cup that he hadn't won for Celtic in the previous season before that. But I think he's in a big dilemma, though, Jack. Kate speaks about, he has to go with his strong lineup, and I get it because we're so scared of what's happened in years gone by. But I'd also make the argument that going with his strong lineup, if we barely scrape past Coventry, going into Brentford game, it gives them a lack of confidence and more lack of belief. And I think Postecoglou's in a bit of a precarious position. If he makes changes to the lineup and we go out, people will go mad at him. But if he doesn't make changes and we barely scrape by, people will still be on his case anyway. So it's sort of like, I think for me, if I'm in his situation, I make the changes and see if I can get a stroke of luck because we're on a terrible run of form. A lot of Spurs fans are a bit glum. I'm seeing a lot more people saying they're finding the football becoming very boring, and that's because we're not scoring goals. That's what entertains people at the end of the day. So, Kate's absolutely right. There's a lot riding on this game, and I also share the same fear. And I've said it, way before the North London Derby with you, Jack, that if we lose the North London Derby and we go out with a cup competition, there are two games that Tottenham fans will not tolerate. And, he finds himself in a very precarious position, despite Fabrizio Romano coming out with that tweet. I think that tweet actually only puts more pressure on him, to be brutally honest with you. Sometimes when I see stuff come out like that, it's almost like a vote of confidence, and the old traditional vote of confidence. And usually when they come out, it's not long after that the manager loses his job.
Yeah, it's kind of like planting the seed really in people's minds, right? Where it's kind of what everyone is kind of subtly thinking, but once it actually gets spoken like that from, the news sources, then you do start to worry a little bit. It's kind of like if, your missus was mad at you and then, you're not acknowledging it. And then all of a sudden she does say, well, you might know that, I am mad at you, but it's going to be okay, sort of thing. And it's like, oh, geez, like I knew it all along, type of situation. So I think it doesn't technically make things any easier. I would agree with you. Probably not a great analogy because I know plenty of you guys would never have to go through something like that, maybe compared to myself. But let's move it on. Enough about me. Let's go on to Lee from Lee the Dorset Spurs channel, our man down south. Let's hope that he has some confidence going into this one. So far, we've gotten mostly 2-goal predictions for Spurs to win it. Let's see if he might break that mold.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Jack. Lee the Dorset Spur back with my probably terrible prediction for the Tottenham versus Coventry, or should I say Coventry versus Tottenham in the Carabao Cup. Well, this is a must-win, isn't it? Absolute must-win for Andrews, under an awful lot of pressure. This one I can see him utilising the squad. You'd like to think that this is going to be the game that gets Archie Gray and Lewis Bergvall, Dragusin maybe, onto the pitch, and obviously they should have enough. These are Premier League players who've paid a lot of money for. They should be enough to do the business against lower league opposition. So if we don't come out of this game winners, then the questions definitely will be asked, and it'll be another cup opportunity lost before it's even started. But listen, you've got to remain positive. You've got to back your team. So for me, I'm still going to go for a win, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Spurs. Can't see us not getting a goal against us. So, but anyway, we'll see. Keep the faith. Up the Spurs.
I'm not sure if I could tolerate actually us conceding to Coventry City. I just think I'd actually rather have the 2-0 wins. Now, I know I asked him to give us more goals, but now I kind of want to take that back from earlier because I just don't know if I could really tolerate us conceding because it's probably going to happen first, and then we'll end up coming back and winning at 3-1, which just to me is just too much of a roller coaster. But I'm probably showing them just being too much of a wimp about this all, and we just need to keep our heads. But a great background, by the way, from Lee. The hair looks good. He's looking stylish. He kind of looked like he was up in the heavens somewhere because there was a lovely bit of daylight behind him, with that lovely wall as well. I like the background that he chose. But Dave, he's gone for a 3-1. It's a must win. That seems to be the theme from everybody here.
I'm surprised with the 3-1 prediction from Lee. I was actually watching his post-match analysis there before we come and done this, and he looked very glum, very down. As you know, he was at the North London Derby yesterday, and he felt very let down. But one thing you said there about giving these youngsters the opportunity, and I completely agree with him. I think even if you look back at preseason, Jack, the youngsters is what gave us the most excitement. The youngsters are the ones that actually went at these teams with no fear and was the ones that was helping us get the results, helping us get the wins and stuff like that. So, I think Lee's absolutely spot on there, and I think many Spurs fans want to see these youngsters, Gray, Bergvall. Like you said, we've pumped a lot of money into these guys. Let's see if they bear fruit, and let's see if they can lay down a claim. 3-1, I would like to think we can get a nice convincing win against Coventry. I know many people will think of the fight they put up against Man United in the semi-final last year and probably should have won. But, they don't really fare too well in this League Cup, actually, believe it or not, over the years. And they've also got off to a very poor start to their season as well. So they're there for the taking.
Must wins for both teams, it sounds like. They got to lead the Dorset Spur. Check him out, please. Great channel, great person. He's a role model to the rest of the crew here. He sends them in nice and early. He's always on time with them as well, even when he has a bit of a glum face, like Dave was saying. After a North London derby defeat, he still musters the courage to send one in. So big up to lead the Dorset Spur. And we'll end it off here finally with who it is. It's the closer. It's the Dermatrone. See what he has to say. I wonder how big he's going to go, or if he's also a bit glum after the North London derby defeat.
Hey, this is Dermot, aka Dermatron from thfc till I die, the 100 Tottenham past, present, and an exciting future, hopefully, under Ange Postecoglou. This is my match day prediction of Coventry City versus Tottenham Hotspur. Guys, we've had history with Coventry before. They beat us 3-2 in our first ever FA Cup final defeat back in 1987. Of course, the game of Clive Allen got his 49th goal of the season. Gary Mabbitt's own goal in extra time, give Coventry the winner. Look, I'm confident we're going to win, but I'm not that confident. I think yesterday's dealt a big blow in how I feel about Ange, how I feel about the team going forward. It's a game that we have to perform well for 90 minutes and win. If Ange is to gain any faith back in some of the fan base, I think tomorrow is important. We have to put a performance in, a defensive league performance in, and take our chances. We just don't take our chances. We're toothless up front. No matter how Ange wants to paint it or whatever, we are toothless up front, and it proved it yesterday. So I'm going for a 3-0 win. I think we're going to be too good for Coventry. We should beat them. We should get into round 4. So that is my prediction, a 3-0 Spurs win. Come on, you Spurs! In Big Ange we trust, hopefully.
Oh, Dermatron. He's not feeling the most confident. He still went for a 3-0 customary Dermatron prediction there. But despite all that, you wouldn't have expected him to go for a 3-0 if you didn't know anything about the Dermatron. He was saying hopefully a couple of times there, Dave, when it came to Ange Postecoglou. The guy is not, doesn't have too much confidence in him, more than the team right now.
Yeah, but look, that comes with results, right? It's a results-driven sport, and results breeds confidence, results breeds fire, and at the end of the day, we can sit here and say you have to support them through the tough times, which I think many Spurs fans do. We still rock up to watch the games, we still chant, we still sing and stuff like that. But ultimately, during the week, is where the fallout happens, and that's because of the results. Your results is the only thing that can turn this around. It doesn't matter what I, or anybody else comes out and says about Ange Postecoglou, the players, the project. It really doesn't matter. It's all about results, and it's now up to these players to deliver. We heard from them before the game, before the Arsenal game. We know what it means to fans. And you have Pedro Porro literally before they walk out on the pitch, embracing David Raya with a hug. I bet you he doesn't even hug his mother like that. It's absolutely fucking embarrassing. You see James Maddison, having a little chuckle with Arteta there when the ball goes out. In years gone by, Højbjerg went up and squared to Arteta. So it shows to me it's all absolute lip service. I'm sick of it. Stay quiet and start delivering the performances on the pitch. Because one thing I'm absolutely fed up of is, Spurs fans, a lot of rival fans go, where does this confidence come from, Spurs fans? And a lot of it comes from because no matter how crap we've been in the league or whatever, we've always been a great cup team. We've always competed in the cups, and we've always been able to nick one and piss everybody off. Over the last few years, that's changed, and you can see it beating away and eating away at the Spurs fan base. Even someone like Dermot, who's one of the most positive fans out there, who always gives you a reason to believe or finds a reason to believe, is even being bet up by it now. And I just want people inside the club to see what they're fucking fucking doing to the fan base and start putting pressure on everybody in the club to deliver. Conte famously said, these players no one at the club wants to operate under pressure. Well, now it's about time. We're the laughing stock of the Big Six, and I'm fed up with it. So get out there and get this result.
Spurs fans are stressed, as they should be, and it's up to the players to try to restore some confidence in us, in the team, and in the club. We'll always stick by the club, but right now, Spurs fans, they're definitely worse for wear, and let's hope that they can pick us up and give us some of that confidence back. Well, everyone, in the comments, please do thank these creators for putting up a brave face and for sending in these predictions. Let us know which one of those was your favorite. Smash the like button on your way out, and we'll be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.